In 2015, you were at the height of your career. You were the most famous fitness influencer. You started the whole aesthetic fitness trend. And then suddenly something happened in 2015, 2016, and your online presence started to dwindle a little bit. Can you tell me a bit more about this?
Well, I think it all started in the end of 2014, but I didn't accept it. I started having pain in my tendons in the forearms. I remember that I was training with pain every day, but I was at that point of my life I couldn't imagine to stop training. I was this was my life. It is my life now. It was my life back then, but back then it was also like my career. I was trying to go on top, even climbing higher tops. And I remember that I couldn't imagine even to stop for 1 or 2 days just to rest. And I continued to train with pain every day. I was going to gym. I had pains before. So and most of the time they just went away. So I was hoping that time is going to be the same. But it was different because the pain was getting even worse every day. So in the beginning of 2015, I decided to stop. And I thought that probably I would stop for, let's say, 2 weeks, and the pain would go away. It was even hard to imagine, to stop for 2 weeks back then. But I stopped training, I started physiotherapy, and the pain was staying there. So I couldn't train for months, weeks before became months. I remember actually that I continued to train legs after that because, I said I would stop training upper body and I would just train legs. I would train them heavier because they were my weak part. And probably on the second or third workout, my legs started hurting also. So at that point, I couldn't do anything. It was 2015. I started physio. Physio wasn't helping. I remember that at some point the pain in my forearms was so bad I couldn't use my phone. I couldn't pick up a glass. I couldn't use the mouse. I couldn't use the keyboard. So I was, I couldn't do anything in life. And at that point I decided, okay, let's do surgery then, because that's what doctor suggested.
You were presented with the option to do either physiotherapy or surgery.
But I did physiotherapy for months and it didn't help. And I think one of my mistakes was that I totally stopped doing, all kind of exercises, and because at that point of my life, I couldn't imagine to train at 50, 60%, I was always training at 100. And can you imagine like going every day to be the best, and at some point you go and say, I'm going to train at 50%, I'm going to train at 20%, I'm going to lift light weights. I just couldn't. My mindset at that point was like that. So the physio wasn't helping, so the only option was to do surgeries. And at that point I underestimated the surgeries because I never had surgeries before. I thought that you make a surgery and that, doctor said after 3 months you're ready to go. But they didn't tell me how important was the actual recovery period. So I underestimated the whole situation. Even though after that, I did 4 surgeries in a couple of months.
When was that? What year?
I began the first 2 surgeries in in the end of 2015, the beginning 2016. And I was pretty sure that I'm gonna come back really fast. I'm strong. I don't care. If other people came back from that shit, I can come back. Do me one after another. This was also a mistake as I'm looking at it now. And I started doing these surgeries, and I remember that recovery period wasn't going the way it should be. Like I was still having pain. Even though it was a slower process, I started going to the gym, and I started to get my shape back. I think it was too fast. I had pain, but I was pushing, because that's the only way I know. And probably for 6 months, I got to a certain shape, which was probably 70-80% of what I was before. And I couldn't do a lot of exercises. I couldn't do the same weights as before, but I was, still training. Then I started living the same life as I was living before, but I remember I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy because I couldn't train the same way as I was training before. And I was watching a lot of comments on social media. People wanted me to show how I train at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't happy with the way I trained, because let's say I was training with the 60-70% of the weights I was training before, because I was always training as heavy as I can. So I think the size that I got back was mainly from muscle memory. It wasn't from very heavy workouts. So even at that point of my life, I got my shape back like 80%, but I wasn't happy with my life. And then I remember that I went to so many expos, and once I was in Russia for one expo, and I saw one comment on my Instagram. So it was a guy that says, "Oh, you look good, but you don't look like before."
It's not like you were.
Yeah, which was actually the truth, but I was mad because he doesn't know how I feel. People just look at you and they say, "Oh, you don't look like before, the same as before. You're not the same." But man, you don't know that I'm in pain all the time, and that's what made me mad. And I said, I'm gonna show them that I'm the best in this thing, because certainly they forgot, right? So I need to show them. I said, I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna start training at 100% again.
I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna focus on my shape, because I look like shit now. And after 3 months, I'm gonna show you how great I am.
So I start training and doing the same stuff again.
But this time 100%.
At 100%, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I remember I trained like that for 3 months, not more. And not 3 months, but 3 weeks. And the pain started coming again, even worse. Like the pain in the tendons, it started spread around the whole body.
So it went from your forearms to your entire body.
Yeah, from the forearms to the triceps to the chest. It was everywhere, on the legs also. And at that point of my life, it was probably the hardest, because I went through all that shit with the surgeries. I wasn't happy, even though I came back to some extent. And now I had to stop again, because I know what it cost me to go at that point. So at that point, everything was gray.
So when exactly was that point? Like what you just described as the hardest moment of your life?
It was 2017, the summer of 2017. I decided that I will be in the same shape again as I was before. And the pain came back, so I had to stop, and the pain started spreading all over my body. So I was even worse than before. And after so many surgeries, I didn't know what to do now. Like I did 4 surgeries, so what I have to do surgeries again, I know what it costed me, and they didn't help that much, so what is now? I was desperate, because I started going to different type of doctors all over the world. I was just at that point I was making good money, so I was spending like this. I just wanted to get my life back as before.
How bad was the pain? Can you describe? Because to me as a fan, and this is the image I know of you, that you push really hard, that you don't stop no matter what happens, and you just proved it with your words. But then this must have been so bad. Like the pain must have been so bad that you had to stop again. So can you describe to me as a fan and to your other fans what obstacles you encountered in your everyday life so we can get an idea?
Well, the pain isn't like so bad, but it still limits you to do workouts, because when you go to train, like it's tendonitis, right? And when you go to train, it gets worse after the training. That's the thing. So if you go to train now, you know that tomorrow you're gonna have worse pain, you know. And the thing is that I had it all over my body, so it was limiting for me for everything. You know, I couldn't do anything in the gym. That was the problem. And once I stopped going to the gym, it was totally depression. You know, I didn't know what to do with my life. That was the hard part, because I realized that all my life I was doing sports, you know, and this is the only way I know to live, to wake up every morning and to, you know, chase my dreams, to try to become better than yesterday. And once I had all these problems, I couldn't do this anymore. So I didn't know why should I live? What's the point of everything?
So you started questioning what's the point of life.
I can say that to me at that point I felt like I'm dead, and that's it. Like I don't feel like I'm living, you know. I didn't feel that I'm alive. When I was watching social media, I see all these people going to gym, which made me like very depressed. Like I'm looking at them and I'm like, oh, they don't realize what they have. I'm dreaming for this, you know. I want to have this health so I can go to the gym. This is the only thing I know. That's the thing that I live for. And I was depressed. I wasn't going out. You know, my body wasn't looking the same as it was looking before. And with all this popularity that I had at the moment, I was trying to hide myself, because I was ashamed of what I was. I never went to the beach because, you know, I was ashamed that probably someone will recognize me and say, look how he looks now.
How long is that period that you had to go through, like the hard one?
The very hard one, it was like 2 years, since 2017 till the beginning of 2020. And I think 2020 it was really hard for everyone, but for me it was perfect. You know, I felt that I'm alive again. You know.
Why was that? What changed?
I don't know. Like my mentality changed. I had less pain, so I started going to gym. Even though it's not 100%, I realized that the most important thing for me is to feel that I'm doing something for myself and for my body, you know, that I'm trying to progress every day. You know, this thing is what keeps me alive. But I can say that in 2018 it was probably the hardest part, because I had another surgery on my leg. So my leg was open, you know. I had very big surgery with cartilage replacement.
Okay.
Yeah. At the same time, I had pain on my hips.
Wow.
Yeah. And at the same time, I developed a condition which is called coccydynia, which you have pain on the tailbone. I can't lay on my back, you know. I can't sit without with a pillow, special pillow.
Wow.
Okay, and I had this at the same time, and I couldn't sleep because I didn't have a position to sleep on. You know, when I'm on my side, my hip hurts, my both hips. You know, when on my back, my tailbone hurts. When I'm on my front, you know, my knee hurts because I have a surgery. And I was sleeping on these painkillers for months, just because I couldn't relax, you know. And when you're like this, your nervous system, to feel pain all the time and to have not a single moment that you can relax because you don't have pain, it just drives you crazy. And I remember at some point I was, you know, the pain was so bad and I couldn't relax. I started hitting my head in the wall. I didn't know why I was doing it, but it just, I wanted the pain to be somewhere else, you know? And I started laughing for no reason. I was just staying at home for months like this, and I was doing this thing. And I said, at that point, I thought that I'm going crazy. So this is when I decided to go to, therapist, at least so I can, because I certainly thought that I'm going crazy, because all of these things.
And you talk with the therapist.
I started going to therapists. I went to 3 therapists, and the first 2 they didn't help me. The third one, maybe because he was man and he understood me more, he helped me in some way. I started feeling more, I don't know, more confident, because the thing was that during these times I lost my confidence. Like, I didn't have confidence at all. I never had confidence. I didn't know who I was. And I remember when I started going to the gym, when I started doing business with fitness and everything, I was becoming more and more confident, because things start to work your way. And you feel that you can handle everything. And at some point in my life, because before this thing happened, I was very confident that I can fix everything. If I have problem, I fix it. I can do everything. You feel strong, you feel confident, but when all these things happened, I realized that I can't. Not everything's up to me, and all my health problems I couldn't handle. So this is how I slowly started to lose my confidence. I wasn't that confident anymore. I remember that before that, when I see comments of haters on social media, I was just happy. I didn't care. But after that, if I see a negative comment, I was like, I don't know. I didn't like it. I was hurt, because I realized these guys don't know what's my situation, and they are speaking back to me, And I was hiding all. Probably most of the people, they will be like, why didn't you tell all this thing? It's because at that point I didn't have the strength to say it. I'm just honest. I felt like I'm the most miserable person on earth, and I didn't have the strength to say it.
It takes a tremendous amount of courage to come out and say it now. So what made you want to share this story now, besides having the strength and having the courage now to share all of this?
Because I always knew that at some point I'm gonna say all these things, but I just wanted to feel more strong, stronger, because I'm telling you, like 2 years ago I was so fucked up. I didn't want it to live, I felt like I'm dead, exactly like this. I felt like I'm dead. Everything was gray, meaningless,
Did you have suicidal thoughts?
Yes, I was. Many times I had suicidal thoughts, and what I was thinking while I was going on the plane to see another doctor. I was traveling a lot, so I'm on the plane and I'm saying like, if the plane fell down, I didn't care. Probably all these people are gonna be they're gonna be crazy because the plane is falling down. I don't care. So yeah.
So you lived through all this. Here you are sharing the story. You conquered the biggest battle of your life. I'm not sure how many people would be able to come through all of this and be so positive, because actually right now you look really positive during this talk. So what's the future? You battled through this, so what's the future for Lazar Angelov?
Oh, future, I don't know. I'm just trying to live my life at the moment. I don't think about the future that much, if I have to be honest.
So you're not trying to be 100% again in terms of your physique?
I'm
You're
trying, but I don't push things like I was pushing them before. I'm trying to focus on other things because I'm going to tell you exactly how I was thinking before that. I was, the therapist, they made me realize this thing. I was totally moved by my ambition, nothing else. I was living because of my ambition. And I know that people never understood the way I live because I was always dedicated to the thing I do. And to me, all the other things didn't exist, girlfriend, nothing else, To me, success was the only thing I knew. And I was living to be successful. And once I lost this ambition, I felt like I lost everything. Like I don't have reason to live anymore. So I'm trying not to be like this. I'm not overthinking. I'm trying to find other things beside lifting weights and trying to be the best at this thing,
You're just having fun.
I've started having fun. Like there was one thing that I was so ashamed of myself that in the summertime I was going with tracksuit, before that, because I was ashamed of my body. And last year, I started to lift weights. I don't look like I looked before, but I look like at least like a person that goes to the gym a little bit, So I had this courage to go to start having fun, and I got a girlfriend, so she took me to the seaside, and I saw things that I haven't seen in years, Yeah.
How did that make you feel going to the seaside finally, seeing what's up around town, so to speak?
It just made me feel alive again. I started to have my confidence back. Like it feels good, Even at some point, I started to become overconfident, because once you overcome something hard in your life, you become more confident. This is how I think.
It's true. But this time I feel like you're wiser and you know not to push too much, even though you gained your confidence.
I was very, very stupid. Like I didn't know many things before, and this is the way I grew up, because I grew up with these magazines and articles. I was reading with successful athletes, people. They was always telling you need to give more, you need to be the best, you need to do stuff that other people don't dare to do. So this is what I was doing, Even I watched Kobe Bryant, so he was crazy in this work mentality, So I was trying to do crazy stuff like this. You need to outwork everyone. This was my mentality.
You sure did for a long while, and I feel like this was kind of like the image you presented, that you're the one that you would work the hardest, you would push whenever someone else is slacking or not doing as much as you, and then you kind of faded away. But now we have the story. Now we know that you didn't stop because you just lost your ambition. It was your ambition that kind of led you down this path, and you went through all of this, which was admittedly extremely hard. I can see how your expression changes, but I feel like you have this wisdom now to go forward and be stronger than before.
Yeah, I think so, but you don't know what I mean, the time will show. I don't know what's going to happen, but yes, I'm wiser, and I know how to handle things. And now after all this thing, I started realizing things in the past and where I did wrong. Because when I'm going to tell you exactly when I was in this social media bubble, and I was trying to be the best in this thing. I was trying to have the most aesthetic body, I was trying to be the most popular. You don't see the outside, how you don't see the other stuff, Why do you do it? Is it right? Is it wrong? I just push without knowing why.
And you achieved it. You achieved it for sure. Up until a point as you mentioned, but what I'm trying to get at right now is you have this wisdom now, so you're in front of all your fans at the moment, and me as a fan of you as well. What would you like to say after coming through all of this? If you had like one or two pieces of advice that you would like to give.
Oh, I know that many people right now are probably in the same situation that I was before, and that they don't see a reason to live. That I know that even many kids now have depression and stuff like that. I just want to tell them that not to give up. Just you need to be patient, and at some point you're gonna get out of this shit.